I'm going to be doing a series of sharpening videos. I'm going to cover several different techniques, and I'm going to cover how to get nicks out of your blade and different techniques. I'm going to be using the Work Sharp Ken Onion edition, and I'm going to show you how to take care of those problems that happen to a knife when you let someone else borrow it. So why don't you sit back and enjoy the show. Hi everybody. Well, welcome to my living room. I'm at my coffee table and we're using the Ken Onion edition with the blade grinder, and we're gonna work on a knife that's got some nicks and dented up pretty good. Let's say you let your friend borrow your knife or something, and when you get it back, it kind of looks like this. Can you see that? You see those nicks, burrs? Now it won't even cut me if I wanted it to. So now you'd be pissed off and you'd probably want to stab them with it. But there's a way to fix this. So we're going to go over how to fix it using the Ken Onion Work Sharp. And first off, we're going to start with the coarsest belt they have. Now these are a little bit older, and so what you can always do is mark your belts 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I also use a leather finishing strop, and if you can see that, it's the Pro Sharpening Supplies. So this is a 1x18 leather honing belt. Now in here I have a leather strop. Now this is impregnated with 1/4 micron diamond paste for stropping, but I'll get to that in a moment. So let's get on to this and start getting the nicks out of this thing. It's going to get a little loud, so I'll try to talk over it as much as I can. Now I like to have even when I'm working with the professional machines and everything that I have, or my stones, I always like to be up and over my work area, which means I don't want it on a bench that's way up here where I can look this way at it. I want to be able to look down at it. So I want to be able to see the burr building up along the edge here. Now another thing here about these particular ones is you have your angle adjustment. Now for most knives that I deal with, and that's from bushcrafting knives to butcher knives to all kinds of different knives, usually I found that between 15 here to 20 is about good. If you're going to have to use a knife, let's say you're going to use something for doing a lot of batoning and chopping and stuff, you might want to go 22 to 24. You really never have to go up to 25 degrees. If anything goes up 25 degrees, you're basically making yourself a wedge. So for here, I'm going to go to 17 degrees. So I'm going to adjust it. It's at 15 naturally sitting there. 16, 17. And I'm going to adjust this. Now these things have a tendency to adjust on themselves. Doing it finger tight, usually I found that it will adjust on you while you're in the process of sharpening. So you want to tighten it down just snug with a pair of pliers. And you're going to make sure these things have a tendency, they have slack or slop or free play in it. And just like a rifle scope, when you adjust your rifle scope, if you bring it 1 or 2 minutes to the left or to the right, you're always going to want to do one click over and then back. It helps take the play out. So it's the same thing for this. If it's not tracking correctly, I'm going to turn it down a little bit. If it's not tracking correctly, I'm going to adjust it till it's it's tracking right in the middle of the wheels. Then I'm going to take the slack out of it until it's snug. So now it's tracking correctly. And what I do is I usually go like this, a little bit, get a little bit of the crap off the belt. And it did. The belt adjusted on its own, tracking. So now I'm going to crank up the speed a little bit. So right about there. Now I'm going to let it find its flats point. This is 90 degrees. Now I'm going to bring it up and bring it across. Now I never let the tip of the knife come past the middle of the belt. It always goes to the middle of the belt and then I bring it up and off. And I don't put much pressure on the knife itself, just a little bit of finger pressure. And that'll, as I go up belts, the pressure will lighten up more and more. So now I'm gonna take it to this side, and I keep my blade somewhere right around by the wheel, just above the wheel here. If I don't, there's too much slack here. So I keep it right about here. And that seems to give you a good solid. And if you go up too high, like with any type of knife that's got any type of guard or anything, see what happens? I can't reach. I have to come in like this, which is going to give me a problem. I'm likely going to end up grinding into here. And I don't want to do that. So I keep down low. And I can still see the nicks really well. And I'm going to keep going until I see a burr start forming. Now I'm starting to see a burr forming, but I can see nicks in the blade still. So I'm going to keep going until I don't see any nicks anymore. And what you want is the burr to flow evenly across the edge. If it starts flowing, then it disappears and comes back up over here, and then disappears again, comes back up. Keep going back and forth on either side until you get an even flow of a burr forming on both sides, back and forth until it comes fluid. And it looks kind of like, a best way to describe it would be soft toothpaste coming out of a tube, just slow and easy. Now we're putting a convex edge on here, which is going to make this blade a little bit stronger. Won't nick as easy. Now if the blade starts getting too warm, it's warm right now, but I can still hold it. If it gets past where it actually is too comfortable to hold, you got to turn the machine off and let this thing sit down and cool down. Now I'm getting a decent burr coming up now. I'm starting to lose light, so let's keep going. Nice. I got a nice burr going. I'm going to switch belts. The next one up. Now I shouldn't have to go but maybe 1 or 2 swipes on either side. Now once again, check your tracking. Time for the next. Okay. Remember to take the play out. Now what we're doing is we're taking the marks out, progressively taking and polishing up the edge. And you'll probably see a spark coming off once in a while. That's because of the static buildup. Right now, I could actually take the burr off with a piece of wood or a piece of cardboard, and it would shave. But we're not done yet. Crank up the speed just a little bit more now. So about there. This is the finest belt they have for them. Then I'll go to my finishing strop. Now remember, don't let the tip go beyond the middle of the belt, otherwise you're going to start rounding the tip off. But right now it's very pointy and sharp. You want to keep it like that. Okay, it's damn sharp. time to finish it up. Now once again, this has got a 1/4 micron diamond impregnated paste that I've worked into the belt. Now this one, make sure you're adjusting the track and keep your hand on here when you turn it on. The leather has a tendency to want to jump off and shoot off. Now I'm not putting a lot of pressure on my fingers here. I'm just helping guide it to keep it level. Okay, how to change batteries. So this thing, I've done 4 passes on the strop. And this thing will shave with no problem. I'm going to do another light pass. Okay, this thing is like a razor now. It's extremely sharp. But we can take it a step up from there. Let's take that out. What I like to do is take a phone book or something and a mouse pad, lay it on there. Now this is a fine strop made out of an old belt, and all I'm going to simply do is just draw across, because what I do is elevate it. It allows the blade to adjust. Yeah, and it's very sharp. Now, so now I'm going to take my strop block. Always make sure they're clean. The edges are clean. Start with my red. This doesn't take a ton of skill, just a little bit of practice. Now it doesn't really, I haven't noticed over the years, for doing this for quite a few years, whether drawing it back this way or drawing it so much this way, it really doesn't do a huge difference. That's why you can actually strap. You can strap your blades on something that's only about 3 inches wide. All you're going to simply do is cover from one end down like this. And that's all you're going to do. Where when you have more length to it, you can go more of a natural arc. Feels a little bit more comfortable to the hand. Yeah, she's getting stupid sharp now. And you'll feel the difference. You'll be able to tell as you go up in your compound. You'll be able to tell where it's touching it and where it's smooth and where it's not. Okay. Okay. And all those nicks are gone. So, yeah, I've had plenty of people over the years, especially when I was in the military, that would ask to borrow a knife, and you try to be nice enough and be like, yeah, sure, I'll let you borrow a knife. Comes back and they beat on rocks with it, cutting roots. Who knows what else they were doing with it, trying to open a tank. But so you learn after a while, you don't borrow. You don't want to borrow anyone's knife, and you don't want to let anyone borrow yours. And especially when you get an edge like this. There we go. So I hope this was beneficial for you, and you learned something from it, because now you can see the edge is nice and shiny. Let's see if I can get it up there. And extremely sharp. So, went from being banged up to a razor blade. So, hope that helps. And this will be part 1 of a 3-part series. So, alright, I hope you enjoyed this. This is Black Boot Survival, out.